Well, Republican Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger says this is not quite cutting it. So, welcome to the program. Good to have you with us.
Hey, Stuart. Thanks. Good to be here. Appreciate it.
Quite obviously, we've got to, at some point, tackle entitlements. The president's not doing it, but also the Republicans have not done it yet. Where are you? Why aren't you out there with your plan to cut back the gorilla in the patch, which is entitlements?
You know, look, here's the deal. I mean, obviously, mandatory spending is about 2/3 of the budget.
Yep.
So when we look about, taking a cut in discretionary spending, which we're doing in the continuing resolution, is a good thing. But this is ultimately what we're going to have to do is take a look at entitlements. And I think you're going to see that this year. Our leadership has begun saying that you're going to see that in our proposal of the budget, which will be coming out soon. But here's the deal. In my race, you saw over $1 million spent against me, taking words that I had said completely out of context and trying to scare senior citizens to think that I wanted to take away Social Security, and that's absolutely not what I said. We've turned this into an acidic issue, and we've politicized it, and we've paralyzed the conversation. It's time for both sides to put down their arms and say, there's any number of things we can do to ensure that that's going to be here for my generation and younger, but what do we have to do and what's most agreeable?
Nobody wants to go first. I think you'd agree with that. Nobody wants to put the plan on the table first because that will be demagogued to death, won't it?
I think there's certainly risk in going first, but at the same time, the American people didn't, and the people of the 11th District in Illinois didn't send me out here to be part of the problem. They sent me out here to be part of the solution. So I think as people wait and see how this unfolds, again, this is a marathon to start to control the government spending because it's taken us years to get to where it's now out of control. It's going to take us a while to get back, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it in a very focused way.
Congressman, we don't have the time. We've got to have a new budget, March the 4th, and then we bump up against this debt ceiling, and we've got to decide what we're going to do. We literally have, 9, 10, 12 weeks tops to make all these decisions on a serious plan to rein in entitlements. Well, let's get specific for a second. Would you privatize Social Security? Is that part of your plan?
No, I would not say that right now. What I'm saying is both sides, again, have got to come together. We've seen any number of things. Some people talk about means testing. Some people talk about all these various things to make Social Security preserved for a long time and to keep it around. Any number of them will probably work. We've got to find out what's agreeable to both.
Because, well, are you going to get together in a closed-door room?
Yes.
The administration, the Democrats, the Republicans, House and Senate. Are you going to have a big meeting, get together with the doors closed, no leaks to the media, lock everybody in and hammer out? Is that how it's going to come down?
I sure hope you see that. And again, in our leadership in the House here, you've begun to see them talk about this. And I think, Leader Cantor came out and said the same thing. You're going to see us begin to talk about this. The problem is, I heard the president talk about it at the State of the Union, and he came out with a budget that didn't even touch the issue. And he didn't take a leadership role at all. A lot of people are looking to the president to take a leadership role. He's not. We will, and I think we're going to come together and find out what do we need to do to make sure that Social Security is around for those nearing retirement and for my generation and younger. But what changes do we have to make to ensure that? As well as Medicare and Medicaid. We have $60 billion a year in fraud in Medicare. How are we going to make sure that that's preserved over the long run? There's a number of things we're pushing forward to do that right now.
I just want to raise the issue of Social Security because the Deficit Reduction Commission suggested that we raise the retirement age from 65 to 68 in the year 2050. Now that's 40 years away. That suggestion was immediately demagogued. It was said, you are killing Social Security. You're gutting Social Security. That's the danger here, isn't it? Which politician can get out front, make a suggestion, and not get unelected, killed for it?
Yeah, and that's really what we're facing. That's the political reality. You know, I tell people this. My race is a perfect example of Chicago Network TV having $1 million bought on it saying Adam Kinzinger wants to take away Social Security from people that rely on it now, and that's absolutely not the case. Never said anything like that. In fact, I said people nearing retirement can stay on the current system. But we've got to be serious about, I'm 33 years old, my generation and younger, what are we going to do to make sure it's around and to make sure, I don't have kids yet, but I will someday, and we're burying them in debt. And the president's budget is another example of burying people in debt without any kind of a blueprint to get out of that. We've got to get people back to work. We've got to make tough decisions. And you're seeing House Republicans, today the debate begins on a continuing resolution that's going to cut $100 billion from discretionary spending. And that's just a small piece of this huge pie that we're dealing with that's burying us in debt.
Representative Adam Kinzinger, Republican, Illinois. Thanks for joining us, sir. We appreciate it.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thank you.
All right, coming up, $800 billion, 2 years.